Now I'm live. So let's write a table. Quickly, let's write the table. Then we can go to the questions. Natural selection versus artificial selection. Right. Put it. This side, we'll put natural selection. This side, we'll put, I'm live, okay? I'm live now, everybody. Artificial, and I'm going to be moving as fast as I can. Artificial selection. I'll be moving as fast as I can. Now try to do all those questions. Go to the next subject, do as many questions as I can. So this is the work we are doing today. Natural versus artificial. Are you writing with me? Are you ready? Everybody? LGK? It's lesson time now, everybody. Lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in. Lock in, all my students. Come on, guys. Let's move as fast as we can. And we're going to do a lot of questions today. Today is mostly questions, so don't worry. I'm not going to be teaching too much on content. We've already covered it. I'm just summarizing so that you all have it at the palm of your hand, right? Natural selection, we said it is selection. It is selection controlled by the environment. Artificial selection is selection controlled by humans. Natural selection, organisms best suited for the environment, survive and reproduce. Artificial selection, humans choose organisms with desirable characteristics. And breed them together. Keywords here. Happens. Let me make sure that it's coming out on YouTube nicely here. Let's do this and we do the questions. Right. Let's go. Happens naturally without human involvement. Happens naturally without human involvement. Here, this is deliberately carried out by humans. Then one last aspect. So you need to talk about the fact that this one is controlled by the environment, the other one is controlled by humans or carried out by humans. So, I mean, these 2 points are pretty much the same point, okay? These 2 points are pretty much the same point, okay? Selection controlled by humans. But you must know that for natural selection, the organism best suited for the environment survives and reproduces. Okay, survive and reproduce. Say more successfully. More successfully. I should put that point. Then here, humans choose organisms with desirable characteristics to that particular human. Humans choose, oh, I like this one. Humans choose organisms with desirable characteristics and breed them together over and over again. Are we together? Are we together? Here? Advantageous alleles become more common. Okay? Here, desired alleles become not necessarily advantageous. No, the desired ones are the ones that become more common. Make sure you know this. It seems stupid, it's so important. Becomes more common. Why? Because humans repeatedly breed selected organisms. Here, advantageous alleles become more common because better adapted organisms survive and reproduce. So are we okay with this part? This table? Hello? Are we together? Other name for this is survival of the fittest. Other name for artificial selection. What is the other name? Selective breeding. Are you ready to do questions? Right. So when we say that it's deliberately carried out by humans, we mean humans choose. Humans choose the characteristics they want. That's another thing you can say. And then here it's the nature that chooses. Okay? Nature chooses. Nature selects advantageous characteristics. Are you ready? Okay. So we're just going to be writing this as sentences in questions. Now, let me just remind you something that we talked about a few days ago, which is on here. Last part here. The most common question. Listen, students. Everybody listen. One of the most common questions for IGCSE biology is on adaptations. It almost always comes. Like when this chapter comes, a lot of the times it will be asking you natural selection versus artificial selection, blah, blah, blah. And then it also asks a lot about adaptation. So just remember the adaptations of hydrophytes and xerophytes, please. We say that when we want hydrophytes, hydro is water. So anything that is going to be called a hydrophyte, it is a plant which is suited for conditions that have a lot of water. When we say a xerophyte, it is suited for dry conditions. Now, if we have a xerophyte, all it is concerned about is I mustn't lose water. So what it's going to have, it's going to have a thick waxy cuticle to slow down evaporation. Its stomata will be sunk here or closed in dry conditions. That's important. Its roots will be deep. That's important. And finally, its leaves are small. That's important. You can say those things. Other things like thick stems can also help you, and hairs that reduce transpiration on the leaves. When you say hydrophytes, most important things will be 1, stomata, 2, airspace, and 3, roots. Stomata usually open and on the upper surface for gaseous exchange. It cares about gaseous exchange and floating and sunlight. So for gaseous exchange, the stomata is usually open and it's on the upper side. It has large air spaces in the spongy mesophyll. I don't have the diagram. I should have showed you the diagram of the leaf again. Then the roots, small. They are small. Okay? The roots are small. Please. For here, if they are shallow, then they are going to be wide-ranging. Okay? If they're shallow, they're going to be wide-ranging to get water the moment it goes in, the moment water rains. Anyway, that's for xerophytes. They don't want to lose water. So if we now go to questions, let's see, past paper time. Past paper time. Let's do questions. What I want you to do, you always write the year and it helps us. So we start with, say, March 2025, paper 42. Write it. Can you do that? 0610. Okay. March 2025, paper 42. Then say question 5. Do it. Are you writing? Write it. Write it. Number 5, please. Now let's answer this. 5B, part 1. Let's quickly move, okay? You are in an exam. This is you. First question. State the term used to describe plants that are adapted to live in water. Hydrophytes. Hydro for water. So hydrophytes. Okay? Right. Identify feature T shown in Fig and explain how this feature adapts the leaf to float. Right. Can you see here a cross section of a leaf? This is where a lot of us, I want you to get used to it. The cross section of a leaf. Okay? Can you see this, class? Hello? Can you all see? Okay. This is a cross section of a leaf, and they want us to label it. To label this cross section of a leaf. Can you see these parts? So the diagram can slightly change, but this is not a big change from what we already know. I know that you are used to a diagram which is, things like this, layers like this, like this, like this. But that doesn't matter. If you see here and they ask you, the question was saying, tell us what T is and how it helps. When you come to T, you can see there is nothing here inside T. So this is an A space. This is an A space. Okay? Remember when I told you the diagram, I showed you that you're going to have the very top layer, which is the waxy cuticle right on top here. It's thin. Then this one here be the upper epidermis, right? Then we have the palisade mesophyll. Then we have the spongy mesophyll. You have to keep practicing this. Okay? Palisade is this one. Really doesn't have as much like the spongy mesophyll. Something like this. Something similar here. If you come to the spongy mesophyll, you see the air spaces that we were talking about. Air spaces. Okay? So, here they had said, tell us what is T and how it helps the leaf to float. So this is what is T? It is the air space. Right? Hello, students? LGK, can you hear me? Yes. C is just the spongy, the air space, part of the spongy mesophyll. Now they had said, tell us how this feature, this adaptation comes a lot. I told you already. So we are not going to be scared of it. Explain how this feature adapts the leaf to float. How does the leaf float? So let me say this. When you have a gas, everybody listen. When you have a gas, this is a bit of a chemistry lesson. We look at how come ships can float in water when they are so big. It's because they have a lot of empty space. Nothing. The whole ship is not filled with water or whatever. There's a lot of empty space for people to move and human beings to move. That is why they can. It's because if you have a gas versus if you have the same thing but with a liquid, versus if you have this, so this is, let's say this is a liquid, versus if you have the same thing but with a solid. If you have a solid, naturally it will be more heavier. We say that it is denser. This has the highest density solid. Then liquid are denser than gases. Gases are the least dense. So the reason why we have an airspace, we are trying to make the leaf as light as we can. It should have empty space. So it is, why do you have it? We say it is for low density. This is for low density. Okay? Have you written that? Now, explain one other adaptation. What did we say, hydrophytes class? What did we say? We said the stomata is open and on the upper side of the leaf to allow for gaseous exchange. You remember, right? Students, do you remember? Yes, the stomata is on the upper side to allow for gaseous exchange. All right. This one is already done. You would have gotten all your marks. You move on. This is 2, this is 4, and this is 5. Now, we have matched. Pardon? Okay. Explain one other adaptation of this group. Which group? Hydrophytes. Tell us another adaptation of hydrophytes. So we know the adaptations of hydrophytes. In fact, we know a lot of them. Okay? Right. Now we go to May, June 2025. Write for me next paper. You have to write so that you know. Can you all write May, June 2025 and say paper? I think this is paper 42. Let's answer this as quick as we can. Right, May, June 2025, paper 42, question 4. This is the second one. Are we good? Are we together? May, June 2025, everybody. May, June 2025, question paper 42. Please, and we are doing number 4. Let's go through it as quickly as we can, and let's see here. Well, I kind of talked about this last one in the last lesson we did when we were studying variation. Now we are going even deeper to see how far we can go. Right, let's go. I am happy. Don't underestimate the work you're doing. It's important work, this one. This is very important work. Are we together? You are becoming experienced. Don't underestimate this, guys. Don't underestimate this, because this is what you would have done close to the exam, but we want to do it right now. Xerophytes are plants that show adaptive features, yes. For dry habitats, yes. Complete the sentence to define the term adaptive feature. It is an adaptive feature is an inherited feature that helps an organism to survive and reproduce. To survive and reproduce in its environment. That's important. An adaptive feature is an inherited feature that helps an organism to survive and reproduce in its organism. Here we have a leaf again. Grass leaf. Whatever, we don't care about the shapes, whether they can be different or whatever. It has been magnified. Describe what visible feature you can see here. What visible feature can you see here that makes you think this is a xerophyte leaf? The stomata, the stomata, the stomata, the stomata. What we have here is what we call a sunken stomata, a stomata in the pits. Are we together? Class, let me see. I'm trying to see if I can quickly show something which is very important. Right. I'm going to try. I can't really. You see, if you get a diagram of a leaf and the top is closed, like the leaf is close to the top like this, then there is an opening in the center. This would have been something like a normal stomata. But when you have something like a chamber like this, can you see this? This is what we call a sunken stomata. I'm going to try and find some diagrams and share with you so that you can be able to understand what is it that we call a sunken stomata, okay? So you can see important why this is important when it's open like this. Anyway, when you see a chamber that is like this is what we call a sunken stomata or a folded leaf. This is a folded leaf, these folds. So I want you to say folded leaf. If they ask what feature can you see here, you can say sunken stomata, or you can say folded leaf, or you can say the leaf has hairs. We talked about hairs. These hairs, what do? We said they trap air to reduce water loss by transpiration. So you can talk about it. They said describe visible features that identify this as a xerophyte leaf. Okay? You can say the leaf has hairs. Okay? The leaf has hairs. These hairs here. Okay? To prevent water loss by transpiration. Okay? By trapping air. Are we together? These hairs. Talk about the hairs that prevent water loss by transpiration. This adaptation, guys, is going to carry you throughout this whole thing. Please remember the table. Xerophytes versus hydrophytes. It's a very small table. You can remember and try to always use it for all your questions, okay? Try to look for any feature that you can see. The diagram will change. The diagram will change, but there are things you should look out for that when you see, you will say, oh, this, oh, that. And here is one of the things, the hairs. The other thing which we said you should be able to see is a sunken stomata. Okay? The stomata is sunken. So we said the hairs, they trap moist air. So you can, let me say by trapping moist air. Then here, second, we can now say the stomata. The leaf has a sunken stomata. Leaf has a sunken stomata. What did we say it does? To reduce water loss. What else can you say by, you can say, instead of sunken stomata, you can say rolled leaves. It's a rolled leaf. It's a rolled leaf to reduce water loss. Now, next question. Suggest one way the stem of a xerophyte is adapted for dry habitats. Xerophytes have thick stems, okay, to store water during dry periods. This is how the stem. All this is on that table. If you go to the table I gave you, you should be able to see it, where I talked about xerophytes having thick stems. Okay? For water storage. Right. Describe two root systems shown in here and suggest how each one is an adaptation for dry environment. Let's talk about the root systems. Let's talk about the root systems. We said Species 1, okay, species 1 has shallow roots, but they spread out wide. So we say they are shallow and they spread outwards. So species 1 has shallow roots that spread outwards. What did we say about the roots, class? Species 1 has shallow roots that spread outwards. Why? To immediately absorb rain. Okay? To immediately absorb water from the soil after rain. You can say, or from the surface of the soil after rainfall. Species 2 has deep roots, okay, that absorb what? That absorb water from underground. Are we together? Here. Okay. That absorb water from underground. It has deep roots that are about 15 meters long, and you can say that absorb water from underground. Here. This one, it absorbs water after rain. This one, it goes deep down and finds water from underground. Thank you. We talked about it already, though. Both of them are xerophytes. Both these are xerophytes. If it's a hydrophyte, it doesn't have wide at all. There'll be tiny, tiny leaves like this. They are not even wide. So these are both xerophytes. Are we together? Students? Now, May, June 2025, paper 43. That's right. Paper 43. Which number is this? Whatever. Go to June 2025, class. Paper 43, please. Please go to June 2025. Let's go. Let's go. Oh. Right. Anyway, here we have what they're calling stomatal density. What does it mean to say density? It means how heavy it is. Okay? And here they are saying, they are showing you per millimeter squared, and they want you to convert it to per centimeter squared. Now, let's quickly do it. You have 573, okay, here, and whatever it is, it's per millimeter squared. Okay, so it's like you're saying over 1 square millimeter. If it's per millimeter squared, it's like over 1 square millimeter. Now, you need to change it to per square centimeter. What you should just have is the relationship between square millimeters and square centimeters. Remember, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, which means if I square it, I'll get 100. Because you say 10 squared, you get 100, is equal to 1 squared will still be 1, is equal to 1 square centimeter. So this is the relationship. You need the relationship. We talked about exchange rate. I don't know if I talked about exchange rate with you or with a different class, but you need the relationship. This is the relationship. 100 square millimeters is 1 square centimeter. So we bring it here, we put the 100 square millimeters on top, and we put the 1 square centimeter at the bottom, so that the square millimeter will cancel with the square millimeter. And we'll now have it like this. Can you see? 573 times 100. It'll be 573, 2 zeros, and this is going to be over 1 square centimeter, which is, that's the answer, 57,300 per square centimeter. Right, let's answer this now. Explain the stomatal density found in the 2 different hydrophytes. Can you see? Hello? Yes. Now, this is the secret to exchange rate. You need to first have the relationship between the two, then you make it a fraction. I'll make you better at it, comments, not now. Use the data in Fig to explain the stomatal density found in the 2 different hydrophytes. We have pondweed, then we have water lily. Under the water, your pondweed is 0. Its stomatal density is 0. Then here, the leaves are on the surface. So this is the habitat where you find it. It's under the water. Here, the leaves are on the surface of the water. So they are floating. Right. So what are we going to have here? We want to understand, why is it? Okay? Why is it? They said using the data, explain the stomatal density found in the 2 different hydrophytes. Why is it that you have, for water lily, you have this density, okay, for the upper leaf. Then here, lower leaf surface, which is below the leaf, it has 0 density, nothing. On the upper leaf, it has this type of density. On the lower leaf, nothing. Here, it is nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. So why is it that we have 2 different hydrophytes? Hydrophytes, it means they are found in water. Why is it that one has such a density, 573? Can you see? Hello? Okay. Why is it that we have this density and then we have no? Let's write now. We know that for those that are found in water, what is important is that, number one, we have to have gaseous exchange. So if I'm talking about stomata, I have to say something related to gaseous exchange. Right? So, if I am going to have no stomatal density here, can you see this? No density for the stomata here at all. In other words, nothing is being exchanged. No gases are going in and out. Why is that? Do you understand this? Students, why is that? You will write pond weeds are under the water. Pond weeds are under the water. Write this. So, the stomata does not need to open for gaseous exchange. Are we together? Students, can you see this? LGK. When I say to you, tell me what this stomatal density is, when one is 0 and the other one has here, I'll be saying, if I take a part of a leaf, okay? This is just big words that they're trying to use for you. If I take a part of a leaf, how many stomatas do I find in there? If I take here for pondweed, I found nothing. I found no stomata at the top. I found no stomata at the bottom. Here I found stomata at the top, which is normal. For hydrophytes, we said stomata is open at the top, at the upper side. That is where it's found. If I check here, there's no stomata at the lower side of the leaf. Yes! Because it's floating on water. So, Mr. Leaf, if the bottom part of you is in water, because you're floating, you're a hydrophyte, leaves are on the surface of water, so the bottom is on water or in water. So if you have stomata, what does that help? Pondweed, you are in water. This is why hydrophytes have their stomata on the upper side of the leaf. Yes, Lucy? Since pondweed don't have stomata, how do they photosynthesize? Well, you would have to research. They are found in water, okay? So they, do all whatever they do in water. For photosynthesis, I don't know if they can take water from the gases from the water, I'm not sure. But the secret to this chapter, what I want people to know, that's for another day. They won't ask you about that, don't worry, about why, how does pondweed photosynthesize if it's in water? No. But the secret to this is everybody should know that when we talk about hydrophytes, they are found in water. We said that their stomata, if you look at the table that I gave for you guys, it is almost always open and it is found on the upper side of the leaf. Okay? Are we together? Always open and found, is that Aki? On the, okay, I now know your voice. Found on the upper side of the leaf. That's a big thing. Right. So that's important. They'll ask you a lot because you can see that almost all the questions, at least what people can see is that we are in 2025 and we are doing, I don't know what paper number this is, but all the questions are on hydrophytes and xerophytes. So that's important. Be good at that section. And also variation and selection. So here, pondweed is in water, so the stomata, we don't talk about any stomata here. So the stomata does not need to open for gaseous exchange. Or let's say, don't say does not need to open. So just say no need for stomata. Okay? So the stomata is not necessary. So the stomata is not needed. To let air into the leaf, because this thing is fully in water. Stomata is never found where there is water, inside water. It doesn't make sense. How will the gases exchange happen? Here, what you should know is that if you have your leaf directly submerged into water, then you're going to have oxygen, carbon dioxide doing straight diffusion into your leaf. No need for stomata. Okay? So that's important. Lehakwa, are we together? Hello, Lehakwa? LGK? Karabo? Okay. All right. Let's keep going. So that's important. You can just write that to say stomata is not needed. Okay? So you can say here aquatic plants like pond weed, which is found inside water, which is dipped in water. You have these two, they dissolve into your water. Okay? Are we together? Then they are going to do, they say diffusion, but they'll be dissolved inside the water, the carbon dioxide and the oxygen, and they'll get into the leaf, whatever, it doesn't matter how. So just try to say, I don't want you to call it passive diffusion or direct diffusion, where it moves from one surface to another. That's still okay, where it moves into the leaf cells directly from any part. That's an important one. We don't need the stomata for that. Okay, you can just say here, the oxygen and carbon dioxide diffuse directly into the leaf from water. Now, done with pondweed. Water lily. Water lily, on the other hand, water lily has stomata on the upper surface. Yes, so that it comes in from the air. Is on the, they say it found it. Yes, what you're just telling them to say stomata is found on the upper only. Why is found on the upper side, on stomata on the upper surface? Because the lower part of the leaf is in water. You can say is submerged in water. So, no need for stomata. Done. That's what it was checking. Let's do the next one. Okay, May, June 2025 is done. There's another question that came in October, November 2025. This is now on selective breeding. Can you see this? This is now on selective breeding. Can you now see? Can you write, everybody? October, November 2025. Is it paper 42 or 43? I think it's paper 43. Yes, it's paper 43. And say number 2. Write this. October, November 2025. Paper 43. Number 2. So we are doing number 2 from paper 43, October, November 2025. Everybody, you can open it. October, November 2025. Let's go through this. Write this down. Let's see what type of question they're going to ask. Suggest reasons why farmers selectively, pardon? No, you can go through it with me. Let's go. It's fine. Selective breeding. We know what selective breeding is all about. Then you, if you see, suggest reasons why farmers have selectively bred chickens to reach maturity faster. Why? Can you see here? Chickens are birds that are bred by farmers to produce eggs and meat, whatever. Modern farmed chickens are very different from red jungle fowl. That is their wild ancestor. Modern chickens are very different from their ancestor. They came from red jungle fowl. Look at red jungle fowl versus chicken. Look at the eggs per year. These only produce 12. The modern chickens produce 160 eggs per year. Look at the amount of meat. The body mass, this is only 775. This is 4,000. That's 4 kgs. 4 kgs, which is true. Mean mass of pectoral muscle. This, okay, I'm going to treat it as if you're in an exam, because it's easy to explain things when it's like this. You are in an exam and you're seeing some words you don't know. Okay? Mean age at maturity. These take 142 days to mature. These mature in half the time, in only 60 days. They are fully mature. So if we are to write, why do farmers selectively breed chickens? What, in other words, this is so simple. They're saying, what characteristics were being desired by farmers here? Okay? What characteristics? If we look at the body mass, huh? Can you look at the body mass? You can see that chicken have more meat than red jungle fowl. So you can say, modern chickens have more meat than red jungle fowl. And reach maturity earlier. So they get to this. They have more meat when you take their mean. They have much more meat when they are fully mature than the jungle fowl. And they would have gotten it, they would have gotten to that stage much faster. This red jungle fowl, it takes so long to get there and it has less meat. Modern chickens also produce more eggs. Here, mean number of eggs per year. Okay? They can produce much more eggs per year than red jungle fowl, and do so earlier. Okay? You're just using this to answer. Can you see, students? Basically, so what is the skill we learned here? We were seeing how to look for a desired characteristic. Yes. Is it me? Is there background noise, guys? Oh, so I don't know what the problem is. Aki, I don't know what the problem is. Check around you. The others say there is no background noise. So they're saying, tell us why the farmers chose this. Selective breeding is also called artificial selection. Farmers, they look for, to say, we want a chicken with a lot of eggs, we want this. So they start to breed it. To breed it means they mate chickens that can do it together, to give babies that can do it. You understand? They see, this one is producing a lot of eggs. And okay, so they take that type of a chicken, then they start using it to reproduce many, many chickens. Are we together? That do the same thing. So to breed is to cross or to bring them together. Okay? Describe how a farmer could breed chickens with a larger body mass. How can a farmer breed chickens with a larger body mass? So, how could they? You can say a farmer could select chickens with large body mass. 2 chickens with large body mass. And breed them together. The farmer then can select the offspring with large body mass and breed them together. So a farmer could select chickens from the population if you want. You can say that. Chickens from the population. The farmer will look around his chickens and say, oh, these ones are good size. Take them together. Male and female, of course. Then breed them. They have this thing that they say when you are breeding, they actually have rules to say you should have 1 cock and 5 hens. That's the good ratio. So you can take a big cock and 5 big hens, breed together. Then take all the offspring from there that are also big. We breed them together again. So we are only breeding large ones. We are only breeding the offspring with large body mass. We are breeding them together again. Okay? And breed them together again. The farmer can continue this process, or the farmer can repeat breeding, keep breeding, but only breed those that are huge. This process for many generations. For many generations. What did we say yesterday? What did we say yesterday? We said until what? Is there anyone who remembers the key statement I told you yesterday? Is there anyone who remembers the key statement I told you yesterday about selective breeding? Huh? Students? I said you keep doing selective breeding until what? Do you remember? Look at your notes. Until chickens with large body mass are reliably shown in the offspring. This is the key statement. We do selective breeding until the desired characteristic is reliably shown in the offspring. Here we want large body mass. So we do selective breeding over and over again until we are reliably seeing large chickens coming out all the time. Am I being heard? Hello? Until we are reliably seeing the offsprings being large. Right, then you know you've done well. Same leaf again. Xerophyte, yes. Explain one way this leaf is adapted. We've seen this diagram before. Come on now. We've seen this diagram before. Huh? So this is nothing new, eh? Tell us one way that this is adapted. Yeah? Here we did the first three, and this is a different page completely, by the way, for all those who want to know. I've jumped. Okay? This is like the next question or whatever. Are we together? Yes. This is another question completely. Tell us how this leaf is adapted. Explain one way, the only one way that this leaf is adapted. One, you can talk about the folding. This leaf is folding inside. Look at how it's hiding. The inner surface is folded in like this. So that's, you can say it like that. Or you can say sunken stomata. Stomata in pits. In pits, inside pits here. Pits, the stomata inside pits. So explain one way. You can say the inner surface. Let me try to use something else because we already talked about sunken stomata. The inner surface is folded. Are we together? To reduce the water vapor diffusion out of stomata. Or you can even say it has hairs. The leaf has hairs to trap moist air and reduce water loss. Okay? Or to reduce, you can say the movement of water vapor. Okay? Out of the stomata, obviously. So it is to trap moist air. Okay? And reduce movement of water vapor out of stomata. Thank you so much. This one, if you can say inner surface, you can say it also reduces water vapor or evaporation if you want. Water vapor diffusion out of stomata, or you can say to reduces evaporation. That's another way. To reduce evaporation. From evaporation of water, of course, from the leaf surface. Right, this is what you have. Questions? Questions? No, it's not important. Remember, this is more of a zero fight. So, we are not going to really talk about gaseous exchange and whatever. So, try to focus mostly on hairs, the sunken stomata, and maybe the folding of the inner surface. That's enough. And also, since it's a zero fight, you can look at this outer layer called the waxy cuticle, and you can say it's thick to reduce water loss by evaporation. You can also say that. This waxy cuticle is thick to reduce water loss by evaporation. We know that, so you can say, you don't even need to look at the rule, you just write what you know about it. You can say thick waxy cuticle to reduce water loss by evaporation. Okay? Because the waxy cuticle is waterproof. Are we together? Students? All right. You guys are getting very good. Writing this is, you're already getting marks. Don't make it complicated. You're completely different from somebody who doesn't know. Let me see. I want to go year by year. Which years have I covered so far? Oh, 2025 is done. Let's do 2024. February, March 2024. Let's move fast, yeah? Can you please write for me this? This is, write this here. I need you to do February, March. You are doing questions on variation and selection. February, March 2024. I don't know what this question paper is. This is question paper 42. Question 5. Are we together? Write this February, March 2024. and write marking my question paper 42. February, March, not May. 2024. Is February, March 2024. Which page is this? Page 13 and page 16. Clearly these are two different questions, so I picked two different questions. Let's see what this first one was asking. Why did I pick it? Oh, I know why I picked it. I picked it because it has the diagram. Then this, not because of this question. Don't worry about it. By the way, I'm going to teach you something which is very important. Pollination. It comes a lot. Cross-pollination, self-pollination. I will teach you about it. Reproduction in humans and in plants. That's a very, very big subject. Very, 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 very big subject. So make sure you are ready for that. We'll talk about it though. Right now, we want to talk more about this question here. Okay? Explain how the monkey flower plants have developed a large surface over time. Can you say here? Hello? How do you have monkey flower plants having such a good thing, large surface area over time? What is this? Lehakwa, what is this? Do you know what leads to evolution, Lehakwa? Do you remember? From yesterday. Do you remember what did we say? Let me say it this way. Class, do you remember what we said when we said that over time, the advantageous characteristic will become more common? Where does this happen? If you answer this, you get an extra 5 marks for your assignment. Where does this happen? When the advantageous characteristic becomes more common. Where? Yes, Tobo. Hope. You want? Well done. In natural selection. Well done. Because it's survival of the fittest. So the fit are the ones that are surviving. So the next generation is made by fit fathers and fit mothers. So, of course, sometimes fit father, fit mother can have an unfit baby, but usually most of their kids are fit. So, fitness will be increasing because it's the fit that are surviving and reproducing more successfully. So, explain how the monkey flower plants. This is where it's all up. That is what they are checking. Come on. They are checking that because that's what's happening. This is what we call evolution, which is over time, something gets better. So please explain how these monkey flower plants have developed a larger surface area. Ancestors had a much smaller surface area. So you are going to say mutation creates variation. You understand? Class of alleles. Okay. It was mutation that created this variation with the larger cell. So you can be more precise to say mutation produced an allele of a larger surface area. Now you can say the plant with this allele is better suited for the environment Yes, you have to say that. So you're going to now, yes, to say the plant with this aloe is better suited for the environment, right? So has a higher or a better, or you can say has an advantage or a survival advantage. Has a survival advantage over the plants with a smaller leaf area. Okay? Let me say this. I don't want to do that. I'm going to write this in steps because there's a statement which we are skipping. It is better suited for the environment. Yes. Now you're going to say, talk about competition. Say, the plants produce many offspring. And this generates competition for resources. Just say for light. That's the resource that plants love. Now you can say the plants with this aloe have a survival advantage. Write it in your own way. You still get the marks, but say these important statements. The plant with this aloe have a survival advantage over the plants with a much smaller leaf area. You see? As they absorb more light, the larger your leaf, of course, the better you photosynthesize, so you survive. So you have a survival advantage. So you can say, through natural selection, the plants with the survival advantage survive and reproduce better or more successfully and produce more successfully. Passing on aloes. I was about to forget this other. Passing on aloes to their offspring. Until the aloe is more common. Okay? Until the aloe is more common in the population. Sorry, I did not finish in the allocated space. Until the aloe is more common in the population. Stuff like that. Anyway, I know that I'm writing things that you know. Can you still see my screen? I know that I'm writing things that you guys know, so you're fine. You're doing very well. This is important. So, the only way a new allele of large surface area was there is through mutation. Mutation leads to variation in a population. So the only reason we now had the one with the large surface area is because of mutation. So you talk about how mutation produced the allele of the large surface area. Now, because this one is more suited for the environment, you say that. You say, this is more suited for the environment as it photosynthesizes faster, okay? As it absorbs more light, so it can photosynthesize faster. Now you can go on. Yes. Now you can now talk about what then happens. You talk about it. You know about natural selection. We said the all plants or all organisms will reproduce. The ones with the small surface area and the ones with the large surface area, they reproduce until the environment cannot sustain both of them. Their offspring. So until they start to produce a lot of offspring, until the environment cannot support all that offspring, so there is now going to be competition. Now, natural selection says that those that have survival advantages will survive and reproduce better. So that's what happens. They survive and reproduce better, and until the allele becomes more common. Okay, they do it over many generations until the allele becomes more common in the population, and that is why you now have explain how this monkey flower plants having a large surface area. You know what? You people are becoming very good. You need to keep watching this over and over again, trying the questions on your own, writing on your own. Let's see how it goes. What are we left with, by the way? What did we just do? We did March 2024. Do we have May, June 2024? Yes, we do. Seems like we do. Write this now. This is the next question. Can you write May, June 2024? Paper 41. Question whatever. Which question is this one now? Is it paper 41? Yes. May, June 2024. May, June 2024, guys. And we are doing paper 41. Okay? Let's go for it. May, June 2024. We are doing paper 41. Let's see how it goes. Right. Let's see here. Okay. All we want to know is this a xerophyte or a hydrophyte? It's a xerophyte. Ah, okay. Thank you. So for xerophyte, we'll talk about the hairs. And for xerophyte, we'll talk about thick, waxy cuticle. For xerophyte, we'll talk about small leaves. You can talk about small leaves if you want. The leaves are very small. We said they are needle pointed, they are needle shaped. Okay, to reduce the surface area. All those you can talk about it. You can talk about sunken stomata, of course. Yeah. No, because the cross section is to do with the leaf. Yes, 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 yes. If it was a hydrophyte, we'll talk about airspace. Make sure, don't forget. the airspaces. Describe uh, two ways the structure labeled B is adapted for its function. Two ways this structure is adapted from its function for its function. Uh, let's write labeled B. What is B? This labeled B. Can you see? Right. This is more about the leaf. I'm thinking, should I talk about it? Should I not? It has nothing to do with hydrophytes. Let me do this hydrophytes, xerophytes. I mean, we'll talk about the leaf more. It's not to do with xerophytes. Describe one way the leaves of xerophytes are adapted to their environment. There are many. They have thick, waxy cuticles. Okay? To reduce the evaporation. Okay? From the surface of the leaf. Describe one way the roots are adapted. Now you can talk about roots. Who was it who wanted to talk about roots? What do they have? Either you're going to talk about the shallow ones or the deep ones. I actually don't care. Choose one. Okay? It's up to you. If you want to say deep roots, okay? Deep roots to absorb underground water. Or you can say shallow, outspreading or widespreading, shallow, widespreading roots to absorb rainwater from the surface. Okay? Yeah, you can. But well, extensive it means just you go to great depth, but it's a little bit vague. You can say that, but I don't know. Use widespreading. Okay, let me say use widespreading. Stick to outspreading or widespreading. That's the word we use a lot when we talk about this. So I'm going to give you. Make sure you go through the table over and over again. Then, okay, I'll send you the key important parts from this chapter that you are seeing in many, many questions coming over and over again. You get to a point where you're like, man, the other questions, I'll leave them to you for an assignment. Should I? I'll leave the other questions to you to do as an assignment. Right? Yes. It's your assignment. Now, can people start submitting my maths, please? This is okay. I'll give you this bio to submit. Remember, the new rule, you are not allowed to go without submitting my work. You're not allowed to not submit my work. All of you. It's a must. So, I sent you, if you scroll up in the chat, you see the link. Seth, like literally it's copy and paste. Like, surely guys, lower secondary checkpoint students are managing to do. You can do it. Lower secondary checkpoint, these are Form 2s, 14-year-olds, are managing to do very, very hard assignments, very hard papers. I'm very strict on them. You people can do it. You're much older. Come on, guys. Seth, and you're writing a much harder and more meaningful exam. This exam you're writing has a greater bearing on your future than a lower secondary checkpoint exam. So, no excuses. Everybody, all of you, I mean it. I'm going to hunt you down. Through you or your parents, I don't mind. until you give me my work. So give me my work tonight, please. Politely, guys. All of you who haven't submitted. From, I said, assignment 3 to assignment 7 for maths. So I'm going to send you those PDFs that you can copy and paste. It's going to be marked tonight as corrections. For the others, I've marked. For you guys, I'll mark it as corrections and put your marks. Can you do it? All of you, I want it. Are we agreeing? Yes, yes, yes. The one for sketching, everybody, you can share with your parents to print. You can submit it tomorrow. But 3, 4, 5 have nothing to do with sketching. I want them today. All of you. My work should be saying 35 out of 35 have submitted. That's what I know, even from last year. That's what I know from the IGCSE students. You guys are a better group, I believe. You can do better. So do better, guys. So can you all submit my work, please? Thank you. I'll send you the link, and I want you to submit it. Are we together? Let me take the register. Do not leave. You need the register. All of you, you need it. Yes, hi. I am Hami. Okay. Let me take your register, everybody. It's so important. I'll need to follow up those who have decided to excuse themselves and find out what it is. Thank you so much for attending. I appreciate all of you. Do my work and be good students. I'm giving you bio work tonight, and you must send it to me, including the links for the notes. So the notes you wrote for the first time we did, the second time, the third, I'm giving you and you submit, even for physics from yesterday. I just want to see if you guys are actually writing the notes or you just look in class. So that's important to me. And then I'll give you the, so take pictures and convert your notes to PDF right now using ChemScanner. I'll show you the links, you submit those links. Then make sure the math is fully submitted. Everything should be fully submitted. And it's the same for bio. Then I'll give you questions to do. We meet again tomorrow. Goodbye. Submit.